Yeah. So this add is being called. Once. Let's create info add. Um, rather that one. Let's create. Yeah, what the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? This is a vector of vectors. Sorry, vector of vector pointers. I'll have to make this shorter. That's how shall I call it? Just run or something? Run in GDB. Rig. So I have to type it too often. Or just make an alias for GDB, I guess. Why not? Could call it GDB. Oh. Oh. Hello, Heron. I was thinking something. I hardly read comments. I was just thinking something else was going on. What is the opposite? I was like, use add, so okay, it's saying that I didn't add it, so something doesn't exist. But it's the opposite. It already exists, and I did not expect anything to exist yet. So that's why it says use add instead of manipulating color blend state create and or blah 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 directly. So things, these things here are not 0, and this is not a null pointer, because I manipulated these things manually. But I didn't. And the music is still too loud. So let me turn it even down more. Listening to SoundCloud, as you can see. Okay, yeah. Let's go back to the code. Closer look at that. Color blend state create info set attachments. What is that? Mutable because this object changes dot attachment count and dot p attachments when unflattening. Yeah, well, it's all nice and dandy, but this is the flat create info. We should only be doing this once for gas. No, does it matter if I do it more often? Shouldn't matter rather. Set attachment is Vulkan API. So this must be a Vulkan object then. Yeah, VK pipeline color blend state create info. So the flattening means that I'm copying the pipeline color blend attachment states from my vector into color blend state create info. But at the same time it returns just this thing here, which is the result of merge. Okay, so we merge it and then we make a copy. And then the next pipeline we call this again, obviously. So, yeah. Where is that being called from then? Being called from there. Yeah, just every time we create a pipeline. Hello, GeoWizard. GeoWizard, yeah, how far did I get with the rendering features? It depends, you know. I never implemented anything that really renders anything interesting, but on the other hand, I worked 2 years on it almost full time, so I got something, but not everything. I'm mostly concentrating on, writing an interface, designing an interface, or more like it, that is way simpler than Vulkan without losing the speed of Vulkan. I'm inclined to think that just the whole assert is nonsense. The idea of my flat create info is that it contains a lot of vectors that point to the other vectors, which are filled by different characteristics. And then those characteristics run over, certain values. Well, just a linear range, whatever it is. So they regenerate possibly part of the vectors that they are responsible for. And then at the moment I call this function, we merge all those new or old values of all the vectors, of all the characteristics into a single vector. If at all possible, but assume it is possible, then and I returns that. So for the color blend attachment state, if some characteristic decides to change, this pipeline color blend attachment state object, whatever it is, then it would simply change the contents of its vector. So we go to this function, whoops, or not. This function. That means that one characteristic, if you look at this vector of vectors here, it's defined as ignore the wrapper. It's a vector of vector const pointers. And then one of these vectors would have a different content. So we call being called for the nth time, and now we just have to redo the merging. So this is going to call merge. Which is very boring. Just not really merging, it's just running over all the vectors and then concatenating the vectors. But hey, assuming that the merge works, or does something sensible, then we end up with a changed value here. A vector with a few of these things, and then one of them is being has been changed. What does my editor think? Okay, it's back to being normal. Bum, 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 bum. Which is then returned, but also stored. Why? Why would it be stored? So ignoring this number variable here. Yeah, it's being returned, and now we have that in this vector, which is subsequently not used. Seriously? It is not used? What? This is being used. And dynamic state. Dynamic state is being used? Well, yeah. But this is not used. Oh. Oh. It's using this. Okay, let's see the code. I'll just have to think for a while before I can do something. I need to understand this, right? Set attachments from a vector of pipeline color blend attachment state. So it should be this one. That looks like, I guess, I hope, yeah. This is a member function of pipeline VK pipeline color blend state create info. Surely that has only one such no, this is the only one. And it just sets attachment count and P attachments to point to that vector. Lifetime of the vector must be long enough, I think, to create the pipeline, but no longer. That's it. Attachments, just the attachments. And this object has more members. There's a P next and flags, logic op enable, and blend constants. The captain, I don't know what you mean. If you mean run some program, it crashes. Well, let's see, maybe this one works. Yeah, you have something that works. No, oh cool. But it's just a test application, so yeah, nothing to see really. I have another one that works, I think. This one still works. Yeah, also still works. Can wiggle the corners of the triangle. And I'm working on this one, which crashes. And that's all the test programs I have at the moment. Okay, so the set attachments just sets this, and then also that's the count of this array vector. But the rest is separately. So I guess I'm 58. I guess that the problem is or problem this is a vector and this is not a vector. The rest of the data. I suppose that only one characteristic can be responsible then for, let's say, manipulating possibly these things. Maybe other characteristics can just add some attachments. I have no idea because I don't even know what it does, but it's just, maybe that's a good thing. Then I can write really abstract code that is flexible enough to do anything that is possibly possible. But yeah, so this vector here is only this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Seriously, really, what am I doing here? Which complete idiot wrote this? It's a temporary vector. As soon as I leave the scope, the vector is destructed. And now I'm using that to assign to set attachments. What? See? Passing a const reference to a temporary vector. Then, okay, the counter will work, but p attachments now points to the beginning of the vector, which will be destructed before you use it. So, no, not working. Why that even worked before, I have no idea. Now I think about that this is not correct C++, but I think that the reason that it works because of copy elision. So here we have the return value, and then that's the thing that is returned is allocated on the stack here. But then it is returned, and the compiler is then so smart to allocate it not on the stack of this function, but on the stack of the caller. So in fact, this is the returned vector. In other words, this vector is not destructed, it's returned and kept alive because it's not copied. So it just, that's why it works. But yeah, by coincidence, because that's not how it should have been done. I need to design this better. Let's think about. I think the idea is that the mcaller blend state create info is what I really need, and that includes stuff like the logic op, which I turned off. So basically, I'm not using anything. But hey, we do need this object in order to create a pipeline. Not just the vector that is provided by the pipeline characteristic objects that I have. And then you are allowed to manipulate these directly if you want to, but the others are not, you cannot allow, you should not manipulate directly. That's what the assert is trying to guard us from. Yeah, and what I need is that this function here is being called on the returned vector. Uh, pretty sure this is not allowed. I mean, this is not guaranteed to work. Even though it does at the moment. How can we do that? Yeah, it is being called from my own code. I mean, from the pipeline factory. So it's not user code, so I can make it a little bit less obvious. So this vector here has a lifetime that's long enough because it's destructed at the end of this scope, which is after we actually created the pipeline, and I think that's allowed. So all these vectors only need to stay alive until that point. So I think what I should do is make it non-const and just declare it, and then call get pipeline color blend blah blah blah, passing it. It's actually a really interesting problem. I think I'm going to ask on IRC if it is guaranteed to work or not. Probably not, but you never know, right? So I don't know if I can make a larger font here, but I just now ran into something funny. I did. Let me think how to standard vector foo. Foo is some function. Yeah, where f is defined as like standard vector foo f standard vector foo return foo. And then we do a global pointer is foo data. Okay, so we have a vector that's returned from a function, and after the function returns, I use a G pointer, where G pointer is a global between quotes foo pointer, and wherever is defined like standard vector returned. Standard vector foo, let's call it result. Result. Okay, now people have something to think about, so I'll just hit return. And it turned out, well, that the pointer was still usable, because it points to the data of the clad foo. This is caused by the copy elation, however you write this. Elation, something like that. Copy elation. No, never know when someone who knows will react. So putting it aside again. Well, there's not segfault. But yeah, I never mind that I asked this on IRC. I still think it cannot be correct. So we'll do it like this. Just allocate the vector here and then pass it as a reference, and then we can properly use the dot data function on this vector. So now I have to change the get pipeline column blend attachment states to take a reference to that. I should change that. That if I do that, it just switched tab to the file that I'm trying to edit. Why not? Okay, so make this void, and then we'll do a oops. Did it? So not. I'm getting so confused by this breaking of the long line, because there's so much space here, but it's just one line. Nope, I have to do Shift E, I think. No, oops, yeah, that was cool. Sorry, Shift E twice. And now I can do insert there, const reference, and then we'll call that not the same as this here. Pipeline color blend attachment states. Now it takes a, oops, that should not be const. It's just a reference. And then that means we don't have that. I just directly assign now to the past vector. And then we don't have to return it anymore. But at least this now works. I mean, I can just call the set attachment with this vector, because the lifetime of this vector is long enough. Now we still need to fix this part. I want to protect the user from trying to manipulate attachment count and p attachments directly. Of course, the first time this is correct, but immediately after this call, it is not, the assert would fail, because this set attachment says changes these two variables, attachment count and p attachments. So in order for this to work, I will have to reset these two, I think, just simply. I mean, either I can delete the assert, or I can reset them as soon as I used it. I think I'll just do that then. Used as in I'm going to add a comment because it had totally confused me. This vector is will be pointed to by, and I forgot the name. I'm going to jump here and I will see what it is. mcolor blend state create info. That's a complete idiot. This guy is really getting old. It's on ISC. This Vil, I would tell him what I think of him, but he has, for some obscure reason, he has a channel operator. So if I would curse at him, or well, just explain what I think about him, you might ban me from the channel. We don't want that. But that guy really has nothing else to do than to be an asshole. I'm just really not happy with this narrow window, I have to say. I'll try to keep it on one fitted within this monitor, but with this font. Yeah, that's why it just looks horrible. I have to change it. Maybe we can do it like this now. Yeah. I'll try not to look at the chat. Okay, so we have this and then that and then I still need to reset the things that we are testing here. That as soon as we use it, which is after creating the pipeline, which would be here. Flat create info. Ah, right. Whoops. Yeah. Crash, crash. Oh, that's weird. It's still crashing in the same place. I guess we'll need debug outputs. Now let's make it official. Okay, keep it. This is just a reference, so there's nothing to print there really. What I do want to know is what the value is of p attachments. Well, what's it being called from? Pipeline factory. The only things I have here is that. Pipeline factory. Let's see. Oops, 3. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be a 0, of course. Let's print it also before. See if I'm even changing anything at all. And I guess I should print the pointer as well here. Sorry, so so PJ Boy said the compilation isn't required for that to work. So I said, oh, it's moved. So yeah, I was wrong. It's not copulation. The vector, since it's being constructed from the return value, so yeah. I think it's being moved. I'm not even sure yet, but if he says so, I guess so. So if you move a vector, then it's not copying the vector. Copulation or not. It's just copying the internal pointer. So the data returns that pointer, and so that pointer is preserved. But what made me so laugh is that I said, so you think I can rely on it that data stays valid, so that pointer? He said, I wouldn't dream of on relying on that, but you might. Yeah, well, okay. He knows me. Well, the whole point is, of course, if it's guaranteed by the standard, it's guaranteed by the standard. But yeah, it's a bit, let's stick with the passing the vector as a reference. Motor rack I used to, but I don't think I have it anymore. Where would that be? Not in that menu. I don't know. I never uninstalled it. I don't know. I used to have it, but maybe that was on my previous PC on Ubuntu or something. Yeah, I was going to print the pointer to the flat create info. Yeah. I hate Microsoft, but they were the only ones selling this. I'm using this keyboard. Yeah. The downside of it is that it's only wireless. I would have preferred my keyboard to be wired and not transmit every key that I type to the whole world. Now they claim, of course, that it is encrypted, but you know, fortunately, my neighbors are like in their 80s, so I feel pretty safe as long as there's not no black van outside with a big dish on it. You want to know my mouse? What is it? A Logitech game mouse. I forgot the type. It probably says also on the back. The G700. Yeah. Can you still buy those? I don't think so. I don't think you can buy them anymore. So I bought switches to replace the switches. Let's see, you can still buy G700 mouse. Ja. Nooit meer. Okay, I mean, there will never be sold again anymore. It's just, which is a shame because I still think that's pretty much the best mouse you can buy. Oh, apparently not sold anymore since 2015. Yeah. Yeah, I bought quite a few of these, at least 4 or 5 or something like that, because every time the switches stopped working. But now I just bought switches because I couldn't buy a new one, so I just thought that I'll buy new switches. Now I lost what I was doing. Yeah, let's start over. It still crashes. Oh, now I know what I was doing. I added these this output. Yeah, so let's write it to a file. And then search for that. Sitting again in the dark. That works as long as I only have to type characters, but this punctuation things, that's sometimes difficult. So let's go to the top of the file and then search for the first time it is 0, and then I guess after we change it, it becomes this pointer here. And then we reset it. So that is this pointer of the flat create info 5318. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. So I'm trying to reset the correct object. We see that it is because it even has the same value. And then if you remember, I was saying, yeah, why am I even printing this? Of course it's going to be null. Of course it's going to be null. But I printed it anyway. And that's exactly what you have to do, I guess, when debugging. Never take anything for granted. Because the reset failed. What the hell? No, nobody warned me. Why do I have viewers? They don't tell me this. And why is my compiler not warning me? It should have said that, well, maybe it was warning me, but I didn't see it. Okay, anyway, I'm done with this debug output, because that's really, no. I'm gonna delete this stream from YouTube afterwards. I have too many commented out DC always. I thought I had another one here. Nope, don't. Okay, whatever. Okay, I'm gonna scroll up in the chat to see if anyone said it, because it happens more often. Yep, nobody said you typed 2 equal signs, and it should have been 1 equal sign. Validation error plus record dump. So seems like a real core dump. I think it's time for me to have a look at the stock market again, because it closed. It closed. Yeah, I hope not. I hope not. 600. Oh, 619. Yeah. Okay. But still not very good. Holy shit. It only went down. Suckage. Well, I sold at a good moment. I sold at the opening. It's at 637. That's even higher than this point. Well, actually, there was a 637.1. Okay. I sold it here at 637. And then I didn't do anything until 625. And here I bought it again. This dip here. And then everybody was, oh, Carlo bought it again. Yeah, and so everyone started buying as well. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, I bought at 625 and now it is at 619. So that is $6. That's 1% loss. Oh no. And I bought another one. I just have to look at it because I have no idea what it is. Can we find that? Well, actually, it should be on the same side. Switch the side. Etienne. I bought Etienne. There's no Etienne here. Of course there's Etienne. Yeah, what? Sad face. Yeah, even more loss here. This dropped like 20% or something like that. Yeah, it was here. What they cannot also not see. Oh, no, it was all the way up here, and then it went like, boing. So I thought, well, it must be safe to buy it here. I mean, it doesn't go lower, and it didn't. It went up again, and then I didn't sell it, of course. And I got lower and lower and lower and lower. I bought it, and even lower and lower, and then it went up again. So, well, pew. And now it went lower and lower and lower again. Really? Why? Okay, sorry about that, but sometimes you just have to know how much I lost. Yeah. Why is this just not working? And why I'm sitting still in the dark? I'm going to turn on the light, close the curtain, and get another tompush. I'm eating tompoesje. Well, that sounds like it. You probably write it like this. I'm eating this. I'm eating this. Zie je on Wikipedia. No, it's not cheesecake. Yeah, but it should taste good. Yeah, you should. If you come to the Netherlands, you have to buy one. It's very sweet, but very good. I think that what I've been doing here is just add another fragment shader without removing the previous one. Yeah, both even. So I'm having a fill index now that, well, actually, this is no longer defined. It should be 0. But, I mean, 1, yeah. So I do have a separate fragment shader. Which means that the vertex pipeline characteristic range does not have a range at the moment and just calls compile vertex shader index, and this is not there. But the fragmented pipeline characteristic range is a range, so this is being executed twice. One with fill index equals 0 and once with fill index 1. And I'm just calling compile again. So then it has 2 fragment shaders, which is not good. So since I have only one fragment shader, well, I have two, but a given pipeline factory, and this is, we only have one factory, only 0. So I have only one fragment shader for that. And if I insist on adding that during fill index equals 0, well, then I should not add it again when the fill index is 1. Londra, no, not at all. The first validation error remains. Oh, and that one too. Hmm. What a pain. Fragment shader consumes input location 1.0, which is not written by fragment shader. Sounds like nonsense. I'll ask on Discord, I think, what this means, because I don't think it means anything. Discord. I think still kind of weird that this appears twice here. Or weird, probably wrong. Because we are creating graphics pipeline with 2 stages, being 1 vertex shader and 1 fragment shader. That makes sense. Yeah. Rob, oh yes, it's getting larger and larger. And every time I add new code, it doesn't work, and then I fix that, and then that works again, and then I add more code. I think I understand it. So I was talking here. The font is a bit small, but I'm saying there it might be caused by the fact I added 2 fragment shaders. So it thinks that the input of the last one should be reading from the first one, hence twi fragment shader. I guess I won't try to answer questions. I cannot even. RGB. My code does not contain this string. Surprising. No, Sasha's already answering it. Okay. Yeah, the problem is simply that I'm trying to create a graphics pipeline with 2 fragment stages. And the error is very stupidly about the fact that then this fragment shader thinks that it should be receiving info from that stage. I mean, it's just a list of stages. Get a vertex shader, and then a fragment shader, and then another fragment shader. On that, done. This is the last project of my life. I'll retreat into the home of senile old people by the time I'm done. If I'm done by that time. It's about the journey, not about the goal. Blah, blah, blah. Now, I hope to, get more and more interesting graphics output at some point. It starts, I'm already thinking about, the next step would be, the next milestone would be when I consider this to work, and then I want to be able to click on the screen and know where it hits my objects. I'm not sure yet if I want to first make it 3D objects and then do the ray tracing that is necessary. But yeah, I probably should first make 3D objects and then make the mouse work so I can click on it. So implement the camera basically. And once I have a camera, then I think we have a really big milestone. Then things get interesting. Currently no camera whatsoever. Cannot rotate, cannot move, can do nothing. Okay, how did my fragment shader end up twice in this list? There's a call to that function. Grab project sources for that function. It should be there. Or not. No, I think that should be that. Should it? Ugh. Graphics pipeline. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Okay, we start with something that has stage count in it. And then P stages is too big. Well, stage count as well. So that what we start with is the graphics just pipeline create info, which is a second argument here. And that would be the second argument, that thing here. So the stage count and the P stages is too big, so this is too big. Which is, we got that from the flat create info. Merge of that list. Which is being added to when we call add. This add is a vector of data state create info objects. Which is probably that one. Which is added to the flat create info by a call to add shader stage. We'll register add shader stage with. And that should really be called only once. Yeah, it's called by add characteristic. Therefore, it's the pushback that adds it again. So we get here twice for the fragment zero. Oh, right. Yes. Yeah, I still find it a bit dubious that to do this in this function. Mm. Nevertheless, I have to clear this. We have to clear this before we begin with the fill state. So I'm having a characteristic range.cxx, or then actually two x's. And then we have a do fill. Shit, wait for do fill, but not. What is characteristic range? Yeah, okay, but that I guess I was looking for that. Yeah, I have filled here, but how do I know when I'm done with that? Let's see. Continuous state was renamed, I think, to fill state. That would get pretty close. Oh. You could call a function here. called pre-fill or something like that. Hmm. Also, again, also never reached. What? Now, what was the thing that had to be cleared? I think that thing. Hmm. We have a range working. Let's turn on both pipelines again. Or not. Oh, factories, yeah. Yeah, because now we have two factories. And one is a range, so I have 3 pipelines. Although I'm not sure I'm using them. Yep, that works. Okay, no validation errors, no hanging, no crashing. You guys will have to think about something new to do then. Where do those pipelines even go to? IMQ create pipeline, and then we have more IMQ pipeline, and here we have logical device create pipeline, which is then probably still IMQ. And really, I was just looking for that one. Anyway. Now this is created object. Hmm. I think this will we have to one of these will be the IMQ, so probably this one. And then we have one here, which is to do with this, which is doing what? No, I don't know. So that's the second call then, and then we have a third call. And then a fourth call. Okay, and then a fifth call. Now I'm not happy. 5 calls? Why? Now go to the top. I'm going to assume one IMQ, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 calls. Well, we have left and right, that's for sure, but why would I have 2 pipelines on one side? Oh, that's actually correct. Yeah, that's correct. So we have one IMQ, that's one, and then we have 4 left. And then we have 2 factories. So each factory does create 2 pipelines, and it creates 2 pipelines because each exists of 2 characteristics, where one characteristic is for the vertex shader, and that's just a single range, so only no range, value 0. and the other one has a range of 2. So 1 times 2 is 2 pipelines per factory. 2 factories, 4 pipelines. Yeah. So not that we're using them, I don't think so, no, but what if I make the range of this one also 2? So now also this fill index is being called twice, which means that we really should not compile here. I think that prediction, I don't need this, therefore I don't need this, I don't need anything. I'll just do this when fill index equals 0. Dang. Again, multiple fragment shaders. Why? Stage count is again 3. As if we went back in time. 1 vertex shader, 1 fragment shader, another fragment shader. Hmm. Strange. No. But no, I don't get it. Okay, well, at the very least, hmm, anonymous. Okay, so before this is being run, we call pre-fill state. And the other one is called fragment pipeline characteristic field. So maybe I should just search for that. So we call pre-fill state on that object. Yeah, it's not clear what that belongs to, because it's not entirely the same as this. Pretty close though. It could indeed be a base class. I'm guessing that is correct. So, yeah. And then at the same time, we have the characteristic range that is running here, fill, and that also is called pre-fill state. And both have fill index of 0. Now, gonna go to the next one. I think this is the other pipeline factory. Also both fill index. Maybe it crashes with just one pipeline factory. That would be a little bit easier to debug. So yep. Pre-fill state is called, and then we call the fill state, and then with fill index equals 0. And then after that, or simultaneously, I guess, another thread. Also pre-fill state called, and then the fill state and the fill index is 0. Now we jump to the next one, and now the fill index is 1, as it should be. So pre-fill index was again called, and then we get that the fill is called, and now with fill index 1. This one is again called with fill index 0. I'll have to fix this, yeah. Because I don't want it to be called, I think, again, for the same index. And that's the reason why it goes wrong as well. Yeah. Okay, well, I think I get it. So the problem is that every time fill index equals 0 is called, I do a compile. So which just add stuff, you know. So now I'm doing this for the second time. I have 2 vertex shaders. And the other one, 2 fragment shaders. Although I think it only happens for this one, or no, it's probably only happening for the fragment shader. So you get 0 for the vertex characteristic, and then and 0 for the fragment characteristic, and then 1 for the fragment characteristic. Still reusing these values, I think, the values of this one. And then we get 1 for the vertex characteristic, so this is then 1. And then the fragment characteristic has to go back to 0. So we want to do 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. So at the moment you go from 0, 1 to 1, 0. We have to call the 0 again for the fragment shader. So it should not be looking here, it should be looking at the fragment shader. And now we do this compile call again. We shouldn't, because it was already done. And the way I wanted to solve that is by never calling a fill state again for the same index. Just always has to be a different index, so that the user can look at this piece of code here and just know that it is being called for fill index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 as large as the range is once, and that's it. Yeah. Yeah. So that's why having 2 ranges is not working. But I don't feel like continuing. I don't know. I want to do something else. Weird enough. But it happens. I'm going to stop the stream and then I'll be back maybe later to implement this.